Hello and welcome to my Daily News X with me, your host Kramer, bringing you a focused, engaging look at today's big economic story. So do me a favor and grab yourself a cup of coffee, my friend, because we have a very hot topic to cover today, and it's a lot of information to keep up. And maybe a cheaper one very soon. Yes. So what's happening today in Washington? Well, today we're talking about how Mr. President Donald Trump administration is facing pressure over rising consumer prices, especially groceries, and what they're actually doing about all of this right now. According to recent reporting, food items like coffee, bananas, and beef have seen a steep price hikes in the U.S. over the past year. In response, Mr. President Donald Trump issued an executive order rolling back tariffs in more than 200 food and grocery items. So this is really good, great news. Awesome. This is including beef, coffee, bananas, and oranges. This is a significant shift, believe it or not, because early this year, he insisted that his tariffs weren't causing major inflation. But the rollback shows a recalibration in policy and game changer. Now, why did it cost rise in the first place? Let's talk about this. Let's unpack the reason why and why did everyday goods become more expensive by the day? And why are tariffs at the heart of all of this conversation? Well, tariffs rise the cost of imported goods. When you import coffee beans, bananas, or ingredients for processed food, tariffs add another tax layer on top of that. Eventually, that cost often gets passed to you, the consumer. In September, for example, coffee beans prices were up to about 19% year over year, believe it or not. And bananas up to 7% as well. So the administration protectionist trade policy pushed up average duties and broadened the base of affected imports. So while there were other inflation drivers, for example, labor costs, supply chain constraints, and even energy prices. So believe it or not, tariffs contribute to a higher retail prices on some key goods. Yes. Don't forget about the public sentiment, which reflects this, by the way. A majority of Americans say grocery costs are up, and many cite the trouble comes from the Trump's administration's policies as a main cause of all of this crisis. Hence, rising grocery bills became a tangible pain point for many, especially for lower and middle income households. So there you have it. Now, what the administration actually did today to roll things back and give money to the people? Well, here's the move. On November 14 and 15, the administration announced rollbacks of tariffs on selected food items. I'm going to give you a couple examples. The list includes more than 200 food imports. We're talking about coffee, beef, bananas, tomatoes, and orange juice amongst them. I like oranges, by the way. The tariffs exception will apply retroactively from midnight early and apply in many cases regardless of whether the exporting country has a full trade deal with the U.S. The White House framed the move as part of a nimble, nuanced, and multifaceted strategy to protect American workers and to address price pressures for consumers. Yes. At the same time, the broader trade agenda remains intact, meaning the administration still defends high tariff tools, arguing they level the playing field for American industry. So in essence, a targeted rollback of certain tariffs to ease consumer pain, but without abandoning the idea of a broader high tariffs strategy, still in place in some products, just to let you know. All right, let's talk about Mr. President Trump. Why is Mr. President Trump very on the big defense, when it comes to this broader policy? He's defending it so hard as he can. Well, it may seem contradictory, right? Rolling back some tariffs, but it's still defending the overall policy. And here's why. The administration views high tariffs as a tool, not just for price control, but for structural reform of trade, particularly with countries that have large deficits with the U.S. President Trump argues that the tariffs are needed to protect American workers and reduce the trade deficit and spur domestic investment. The rollback is presented not as a failure, but as a refinement, exempting goods not produced domestically, thereby preserving core protectionist goals while alleviating particular cost burdens. So while he's making concessions on consumer price sensitivity, he's defending the larger narrative. tariffs remain central to his economic agenda. Very simple. Now, what to expect in the next couple of days? What's going to happen? And what your listeners should be listening to right now and keep an eye on it. Number one thing, consumer price trends. Will grocery prices begin to ease for the items covered by the tariff rollbacks, like the coffee, beef, and bananas? Or the administration price says that they will. Number two, more exemptions or policy tweaks. If public pressure remains high or if elections loom, you might see additional exemptions or broader relief measures. Yes. Political ripple effects. The move signals responsiveness to public concern. It may affect approval ratings, congressional support, and upcoming elections. The Washington Post poll showed that strong disapproval of the tariffs policy. Trade partner reactions and deal making. The administration is negotiating framework trade deals with several countries. Movement in those negotiations may further impact tariffs policy, just to let you know. And lastly, we have the legal and institutional challenges. Yes, some of the broader tariff authority has been challenged in courts, believe it or not. So watch for legal rulings that may constrain the administration's policy tools as well. So there you have it, guys. Today's big stories on tariffs, grocery prices, and how the administration is balancing economic strategy with consumer pressure. They're having a lot of media news and people talking about all this all year long and how inflation has caught up with people and people cannot afford anymore buying or shopping at any grocery stores. And that's what's happening. It's a reminder that trade policy isn't just about abstract economics. It shows up in your morning coffee and banana on the table. Yes. All right, so thanks for tuning in to my Daily News X. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or family member or your neighbor. And let's stay connected. I'm your host, Kramer, and I'll be back tomorrow with another headline unpacked. Until then, keep asking questions, keep listening to my podcast, and keep informed. Thank you for coming, and have yourself a great day.